All right, let's keep rolling. Let's move on to I can't believe, right when I got to this game, I was like, why did you say only one game went against you? Because this one really blew up in my face. So now it's not just me overreacting to the Cardinals game. When Whale Capper's getting higher and higher and higher on the Ravens, I still see so many flaws in this football team. And now they go into Arrowhead. I know the Chiefs don't have Tyreek, but I like the Chiefs here very much. And 6.5 now makes me look like an asshole because it got all the way down to 5, and you can get it at 5.5. There's no 5s on the board.
Is that what makes you look like it? No,
is that the only thing? Probably not. Probably not. Probably not. It's one of the things that makes me look like an asshole. Ravens lead the league in total offense and points. So if you're looking at the stats for the Ravens, come on. I mean, put a line through what happened in Miami. This is a Ravens team that's going to lead the league in offense and points like they have so far. Mahomes, 821 yards, 7 TDs without an interception. This is a more mature quarterback than we saw last year. I don't care if he throws for 50 TDs. He just looks more mature and more in control. So now left tackle Eric Fisher underwent core muscle surgery this week. They could be without both Williams and LaShawn McCoy. I still think that at Arrowhead, these Chiefs roll. It's my 2-unit play. I'm all over it. Donnie, right side, Ravens, Chiefs.
This is such a tough game, and you're right, Jimmy, because I think your head, with the way you're looking at it, is right. Because if you just forget about the injuries and you take the totality of the season so far through 2 games, it looks like the Jacksonville Jaguars defense, as much as I like to malign them from last year, they're playing their butt off at this point, and they were able to light them up down in Jacksonville. Then they go across country and play the Oakland Raiders and lay 28 points in the second quarter and just cruise to an easy victory. But when you take a look at Baltimore, boy, they've won some sexy games out there. I mean, you're talking about the Dolphins who flat out stink, but the way they won it was so impressive. And when you see side-by-side stat lines between the quarterback with Baltimore and the quarterback with Kansas City, my goodness, you can't even tell which one is actually the high riser and the flamethrower out there because they're both having unbelievable seasons. But also we saw the Baltimore Ravens last week go against a team that, again, rookie quarterback, rookie coach on the road, 2-touchdown spread, barely escaped with a victory after a couple clutch plays down the stretch in that one. So which Baltimore are we actually going to get in this one? Now, if we're looking at this game on opposite ends of the spectrum and saying, if I just take a look at Kansas City here, you get no Tyreek Hill. That's a huge bummer for them already off the bat. But now you're probably going to be down the way it looks, both running backs. And if you get LaShawn McCoy in this football game, wasn't very good last year to begin with, and now you're going to get him in this football game with already a hobbled ankle. So the running game is going to be, I don't want to say shut down, but you don't have that, elusive guy in the backfield that can spring you for a big play. Kelsey's an unbelievable, tight end, and they're going to have some great play calls because Andy Reid. And again, you're going to be at home in Kansas City, one of the best home field advantages in the entire National Football League. But the more I look at this football game, if I'm getting a completely healthy Kansas City, it might shift and say, you know what, I could see Kansas City by 7. But just looking at the game overall and looking what you can bring to the table from the Baltimore Ravens, I could see Lamar Jackson having another big day out there. He's going to do whatever he wants running the ball. If they get pass rush on him, he's going to be able to convert those 15, 20-yard runs that he's seemingly got with ease over the first 2 weeks. I actually agree with the line movement here. If you're talking about maybe, a little bit less in the 4 or something like that, it's hard to win in the National Football League on the road. But I got to say, I'm leaning towards the Ravens here at this point, Jimmy.
A lot of people in the chat are as well. Game Theory 101, Ravens plus 6.5. Trotwam, I like Baltimore. Dennis Garcia says Arizona outgained Baltimore by 0.4 yards per play. Baltimore kicked 3 field goals last week, only got 2 TDs. If they don't score TDs here, they can't keep up. Robert Weimer liked the under, but the line has moved a couple of points. Baltimore will run all day. KC Bomey pretty good by shutting it down in the second half last week. Whale Capper, Ravens, Chiefs.
This is a big one. Really and truly, this is going to matter when we come to the end of the season and these teams are jockeying for playoff seeding. One of these two teams is likely not going to have a bye, and that's going to be a huge issue in terms of their chances to win the Super Bowl. So this is going to be a big game. I backed the Ravens in this one. I have an expectation that we're going to see something different from them in offense than what we've seen through 2 games this season. We know they have an absolutely dynamic running attack ready to go, and they haven't had to deploy it because teams have been giving them, wide open passing lanes deep down the field, daring Lamar Jackson to beat him with the deep ball, and he's been doing just that. This game, though, I don't think you necessarily want to take home run shots if you're the Ravens. I think you want to play ball control. I think you want extended drives because the best chance you have of winning this game is if you score 38 points or if you score 30 points and you keep the Chiefs under 30. And the only way to keep Pat Mahomes at this point in his career, at this, with the weapons he's got at his disposal, the only way you keep that guy under 30 is if you keep him on the sidelines. He could have scored 42 in that game against the Raiders with his eyes closed. There were some weird penalties and some weird calls that kept some points off the board for the Chiefs there. And no points in the second half was a little bizarre there. I think the Chiefs are a dynamic offense, and I think the Ravens are going to have to play a little bit of keep away. But the thing that I like is they have the unit to do it. I think this comes down to whoever has the ball last. I think this is going to be a coin flip kind of game, and I grabbed 6.5 early here, expecting this to be a pretty tight contest. Actually, I think I had +6. I sold down to +6 a little earlier to get a nice plus money score. This is going to be a tough contest, and we're going to learn a lot about whether my Ravens bullishness is warranted based on how they perform in this game. Because if they can't slow down the Chiefs, then this is probably a 2-team race in the AFC.
Interesting. So a bunch of stuff coming in. First off, Nico says, forget the techno analysis. Line makers want you to take the Chiefs. See, I looked at this line and I was like, oh, line makers want you to take the Ravens. That's what I thought at 6.5. I thought, man, that's a lot of points. And then we have stuff coming in with Eddie Euler saying heavy rain could be a classic kind of game. Give me the points. And yes, it says pack ponchos and rain gear this weekend. Kansas City Chiefs game expected to be wet. 100% chance of participation. If you think there's going to be a lot of rain here, does that make you like the under a little bit more? Why don't we start with you, Donnie Rightside?
What was that? I'm sorry, Jimmy, cut out there. What was that?
It's just that there's going to be a lot of rain and thunderstorms on Sunday in Kansas City Arrowhead. Does that make you like the under more than you did?
I mean, anytime you get rain in the forecast, it's going to make you lean towards that direction. But it's interesting because, sometimes we'd like to jump ahead of it. Like, I'm reading some forecast there that it's going to be rainy for the pregame, and then it'll clear out because that is going to make but these fields are so pristine condition. As long as they don't get a deluge of 4 or 5 inches of rain, I don't think there's going to be too big of a difference in that factor. So if you say, on the outside looking in, it probably does help the Ravens, and it probably does help you on the under.
Yeah, the under is becoming more appealing knowing that that's the weather situation. What do you think, Will Capper?
Makes sense to me. I think the Ravens and the under are pretty highly correlated here. Like either their games, the game goes per their script, per the way they would like it to go, where there's fewer drives and fewer possessions and fewer opportunities for Mahomes to cut them. Or it goes the way of the Chiefs, in which case the Ravens are constantly playing catch up. They can't afford to do ball control, and Harbaugh is a good coach. He's going to go for it on 4th down. He's going to go for touchdowns, not field goals. And so it's a little bit of a dicey situation, especially with this high of a total. If it is as bad as they're saying, and it is pouring rain all day, all throughout the game, then yeah, the under is kind of in play. But throughout history, we have mostly seen that precipitation is a little overblown as far as totals go. It mostly comes down to whether or not there's wind, because that affects the kicking game, that affects the deep pass, and really that's how the Chiefs are going to put points on the board in this one. So I would look more towards the wind here and keep an eye on that. If that ticks over 15 miles an hour, then that's probably a sign that we're going to see some under money come in. But I'm going to stay away from this total.
I get it, staying away from this total. At this point, wind is set to be at 11 miles per hour, 73 Fahrenheit, 100% precipitation. Not looking very good there.